on that right side. So I wonder how that clashing will happen here. Game number 1, the SCC versus the SPL. It's Hex Mambo and Gilded Gladiators, and we've got Dimes and Frog to bring the cast.
Kicking it off here with a banger. Frog, SCC, SPL, the Hex Mambo. To this point, it's
Hex Mambo. This is kind of a new style of draft for them. Johnny is on a brand new pick. We haven't seen it this weekend, but a little bit of action here.
Good night inbound. A pull in from Kha'Zix and a slam down to the ground. The Maui takes out Sylvanas for the first kill of the game. And Frog, all weekend long, we've been seeing this targeting of
early
support.
Pressure there in the dual lane. Kha'Zix and Spudio waste no time, and Kirmi now wasting no time.
What a phenomenal chain CC. Julio dashing away on the King Arthur with his 1,000,001 buttons to press. Kirmi following up Julio, who's going to dash under tower, a pull back in. Max range Cobra's Kiss there from Kirmi. Puts the Gilded Gladiators on the board.
Good reaction there from the Gladiators to match gank with a ton of success on throughout the weekend. Variety tried to pick this up a little bit earlier and did not look great, but inbound, falling for the second time, only 2 minutes in, and we've got plenty of action in the side lanes.
I mean, Sylvanas is, help me out here, Frog. Is there a more immobile support than Sylvanas, especially being, level 2? It is 2:30 in the game. Inbound is level 2. Everybody else is already 4, ticking over to 5.
Purple buff invade. Kha'Zix does want to continue pushing for that buff, and so they will at least find the fight on the right side as well, though. Kirmi's over here.
Locked down by Johnny. Does not use the hammer to teleport away. Now stuck in this blue buff pit. A little bit of a death bane there from Kirmi to knock down Johnny a little bit farther. Scary D doesn't have the final touches for the Thor, who goes back into the fray. Kirmi, no mana, no HP, getting chased out by Julio, but guess who has made the rotation? It's Snoopy on the Marty. Julio does turn it around. Jungle for jungle on the right-hand side.
Gilded Gladiators looking like they want to focus early. You're down 0-2, and you now want to play a little bit safer. You're down 2 levels early on in the support, but Scary D's the focus again.
And with no mana to his name, Scary D is going to be juggled in the air, slammed down by Julio, and the King Arthur takes down the solo Sobek Hex Mambo off to a blistering start here in game number 1.
Yeah, they are definitely getting the kills on the board and responding where they need to. They pick up a couple in the left
some
lane.
solo farm, but meanwhile, just one of the worst things you can do in Smite. Stall the lane out, minions meet in the middle. You lose a little XP. Here comes Kirmi, though, blinking in on Spudio, who immediately hops on the horsey. Kirmi with the follow-up. Stun doesn't connect from Kha'Zix. Target has turned, but here comes Johnny from out of nowhere with a double stun. One goes the way of Spudio. Landfall off the mark. Inbound, falling low. Johnny, no wall online. The double tap goes on to Stewart. Final shot from Johnny. The ADC falls. Inbound, half HP under tower. And a 1-1-3-4 Thor is a good start here for the jungler for the Mambo.
Johnny is beautiful.
You can see Hawk 0-0-0 hasn't participated in any of the bloodshed on the map yet, but certainly coming online with that Divine Ruin. A knock-up onto Johnny, a slam down from Kha'Zix. Rom snipes, raining down onto this engagement. Kirmi, the recipient of the apple. Spudio with the finishing touches, taking down the jungler. Johnny electing not to continue the engagement, hammering down on the purple buff, and Hex Mambo find yet another engagement that goes their way.
Inbound tries to punish. He finds Johnny in the jungle, immediately drops the Wrath of Terra, and Johnny does take everything. I think he does get hit by that initial Marty damage. He gets hit by the ultimate. On the other side, though, Scary D in a little bit of trouble, maybe, if Hawk doesn't back off here. But, I mean, I would have to imagine it would be something like
popping toast
Sylvanas.
or something. Yeah. Speaking of popping toast, Spudio hopping on the horsey, getting out of dodge here. Up into the air goes Rom. One snipe connects.
Johnny up.
Same thing goes for the second one. Johnny down to create space for Spudio. A well-timed ultimate there from the jungler. Kirmi locked in the purple buff pit. Deathbane onto Johnny, who's forced to hammer away. But Kha'Zix wants to continue on the immobile inbound, who gets locked down. Snoopy is in from mid lane, up in the air, raining down poison from above. The tick damage on Johnny, not going to be enough to put the jungler in the ground. Same thing goes for Kirmi and Snoopy between a rock and a hard place. Beads, Kha'Zix down, Hawk, goodbye Snoopy.
Snoopy, the only one to fall so far in this fight. Kirmi does get the back off in front of Kha'Zix, but once again, a fantastic re-engage by Hex Mambo.
Not just a level or two. I mean, this is a significant lead as the Oni Fury started up here. Stygian Beacon going to be back online in a moment. Inbound, pulled in, ultimate used as well. Discordia Apple just to slow down the support, who's going to be put in the ground. It's just a matter of who is going to claim the life of Inbound. Give it to Kha'Zix, why not?
Oh yeah, he needed that kill too.
2-0-5.
Yeah, he needed that kill. Deathless
Stock is rising
on the team, as are the carry and the mid laner there for Hexmamba. They'll pick up the Oni Fury, and at the moment, you just have to be ready to defend these larger pushes.
It's Johnny and Scary D in the middle lane. Scary D taking the worst of it so far. Auto attacks to the face. That Hammer of Thor is doing it, as Johnny's not quite done. Scary D forced into lurking in the waters, but look on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, the rest of the Hexmamba forcing down this left-hand lane, and Johnny straight up soloing the Crocodile, beating out the Pluck, and down goes Scary D, the hope of this Gilded Gladiators team, as you said, Frog, as Hexmamba. It's Hawk, Kha'Zix, Spudio. It's the entirety of the team on this left-hand Phoenix already seeing damage.
No ultimate down, though, for Johnny, so that engage tool is going to be lost. But it's Johnny still in, just walking it.
Boom! Hawk blows up Inbound in the backline. Snoopy raining death from above and falling down. Stewart with an Aegis to delay the death for one moment, but it's Spudio with an auto attack from downtown to take out the enemy hunter. There's a double for the ADC. Kyrmi, Deathbane away under the fountain. It is one member, the jungler of the Gilded Gladiators, to delay this game one victory, and it will be for naught. Kyrmi jumps in the back line, Johnny gets out of there, and Hexmamba, the SCC European powerhouse, taking out the SPL Gilded Gladiators.
That is
that in late game regardless.
We'll see if the Gilded Gladiators can bounce back, or Hexmamba going to sweep through and make it 10 straight. Let's jump into game number 2.
Frog, in the pregame interview, Snoopy promised us spice, and spice is what we have been given.
And he's like alive for the next 5 seconds no matter what, right? You are still on the ground there. You can still be damaged. You're just CC immune.
Goodness gracious, Kyrmi dropping down, but no, it's Johnny, and it's Ninechell picking up first blood. Snoopy finding one for the Gilded Gladiators, getting the newest goddess off to a rip-roaring start. On the right-hand side, it's going to be null for both these squads.
I think you're right to point out Inbound, because he absolutely is. Well, maybe right to point out Scary D. Johnny will find the first blood for Hexmamba, and they're continuing the push.
Julio, now the new target for Kyrmi. No knock-up on that turtle. Julio able to escape.
No way!
Finds a 1v1 on Hawk in the middle lane, and this pick looks unstoppable here in game 2.
I don't know getting chased down. Johnny will force him into the enemy jungle, and he's continuing on the W key.
Johnny is not afraid to fight on this Kali, typically a late game pick, but going into 3 members of the Gilded Gladiators, baits out the E-Shell. Old Johnny into the destruction with barely enough time. Kha'Zix trying to create peel for the jungler, who gets yanked back in with that landfall. Down goes Johnny, and continuing the aggression, the Gilded Gladiators find one more onto Hawk. Kha'Zix, low HP, low mana, but the same thing can be said for the Glads.
And now I like it much better as a whole from the Gilded Gladiators here in the second game, because it seems like they want to get involved. Kyrmi looking for that gank, and now Inbound looking for Hawk.
Snoopy over the top, doesn't connect with Hawk. Apple goes out onto Snoopy, and the damage is being returned on the mid laner. Ultimate coming out, but now Snoopy in a tough spot here as Johnny has triggered the destruction. Snoopy's the target, but Snoopy turns it right back around, is on the killing spree. Kha'Zix completely out of mana. Lockdown here from the Maui. Stun connects. Kyrmi with the auto attacks, but it's got to be Snoopy. 4-0-2 on this E-Shell.
Snoopy with the double kill, and beautiful peel from the rest of his team. Gilded Gladiators come in. Kyrmi hits that ultimate early on, locks down Johnny in place, and then once again Inbound with the great
taking a look at a little bit of an invade here, going to be successful. Kha'Zix would love to turn things around here. He's going to snag Inbound, pull him back into the team, but it's Kyrmi blinking forward onto Spudio, who heads into the air to rain down fire from above, immediately dropping down as poison is being spewed onto the enemy ADC. Spudio finds the grayscale. Kha'Zix yanked back in by a landfall. It's going to be the duo lane of the Hexmamba, falling as the final ticks of damage come through. Snoopy on a rampage. The Gilded Gladiators find 2 and the Gold Fury.
Well, they do have to contest against this. Hawk and Johnny in the area. They're going to look for the steal.
Johnny, Hawk hovering around the area. Hawk, no Apple to come out. It's going to be the Gilded Gladiators needing to secure this one. They destroy the Gold Fury, but Johnny doesn't want to give this up completely for free. Leaps in, doesn't find Cure Me. And between the 4 members of the Gilded Gladiators, Johnny will find his 4th death of this game, Frog.
Not looking good
golden
for
experience to
MAMBO.
the tune of about 4K gold, 4.5K experience. But, you know, great on them, good job. This is a ticking time bomb, right? Johnny on this Kali.
Whoa.
As Kha'Zix is going in aggressively, Apple finds inbound. Here comes Cure Me blinking in with the ultimate, taunting in the mid laner. Landfall off the mark there. Johnny is between 3 players of the Gilded Gladiator. Snoopy forcing the Hex Mambo back under this tier 1 tower. It's Stewart who has made the rotation from the left lane. Snoopy falling low, a well-timed Aegis keeps the mid laner alive, allowing Cure Me to put the finishing touches on the Kali, who finds the 5th death of her game. Kha'Zix and Hawk defending the mid lane. Might not be advised here. Hawk, death rains down from above. Hawk falling low. Final shots coming through from inbound. Only one more auto. Not going to find it on the mid laner. Snoopy does fall to Kha'Zix in the meantime, and it's a retreat here from the Glads.
Kha'Zix still weak, and the teleport in from Scary D. They may want to continue looking at this tier 1 tower, and I don't think Hex Mambo can do anything about it. Both relics got burned. I'm amazed that Hawk is still alive in that fight. He actually might not be up for as long as he fakes the blink in and
Wait.
peel. But
Scary D didn't fight the
No
kill, and
way!
Hawk the Apple comes out, and Scary D dies. Hawk's still alive with a slim amount of HP.
oh my goodness. A perfect and
response,
Scary D is
right?
now a little bit down as well. They've turned around. They're on the Pyromancer. The Gilded Gladiators still looking to push this lead.
It's only Hawk here to defend. Cancel that. Julio has made the rotation in as well. Cure Me with the ultimate. Rainbows slamming into Julio there. Kha'Zix has joined the fray as well. Snoopy takes down the solo laner, but Hawk answers it back with a kill onto Cure Me. Kha'Zix and Johnny aren't willing to let this one go for free inbound. Solar Swing does find his way out of this engagement. Kha'Zix wants to keep this rolling, though. It's a landfall in. Hawk is eviscerated. Stewart finding the final touch on that kill. Kuzumbo a dash away, but 4 members of the Gilded Gladiators chasing this turtle down. Stewart with a double kill.
They'll find 3 in total, and they'll find the tier 1 tower as well as they head right back to the Pyromancer on the right-hand side. He has to hold on to Julio and wait until he is diving and giving him those space in these fights.
Well, both these squads now contesting the Stygian Beacon a little bit more aggressively than they have in the past. It's Julio from the solo lane knocking up Snooki, and it's Spudio knocking it down Snoopy. The Hex Mambo able to grab control of the Stygian Beacon. The rest of the Gilded Glads aren't willing to give this one up totally.
Where does your healing go? Where does your facilitation go as a mid laner? Kha'Zix in on the Pyro.
Stewart is the target here. It's Kha'Zix and Julio in the backline, but Stewart immediately taking to the sky. It's that get out of jail free card, but here comes Johnny. The Hex Mambo want this ADC to die, but a great pull back in from inbound keeps the ADC alive for a moment longer. Scary D taking out Hawk in the backline. Johnny just will not give this one up. Leaping away is the Kali. Snoopy making the rotation in the back, and Johnny blinking directly into death. It is a 2-for-0 swing. The Gilded Gladiators grab a Pyro, grab 2 kills, and are on the hunt.
Once again, Johnny just finds a dive without Julio. Julio's
are
farming
never
in the right.
letting any objective go completely uncontested. It's 4 members of the Mambo up against the Gilded Gladiators. Cure Me already dropping low to half HP. Julio versus the world here as the King Arthur is swinging away. Immune for damage for just a moment, but is going to slam down and escape as well. Hawk takes out Cure Me in the backline. Kha'Zix looking to keep the engagement rolling here on the Gilded Gladiators, who run away with the tail.
He has to show up here at this Fire Giant.
Here we go, Frog. The objective started up by the Gilded Gladiators, dropping to half HP. Julio blinking in aggressively. Kha'Zix forcing the backline of the Gilded Gladiators out of this fight, but falling low in return as the damage is raining down from above. Spudio takes out Scary D. Snoopy turns it right back around. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Astral arrows fired from above out of Spudio. And it looks like it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade for the moment. Kha'Zix for Scary D. Who comes out on top in this one?
It's not really on him. This time, he was farming up on the left-hand side, and now he might get picked out here. Another grouping from the Gilded Gladiators.
The Glads see an opportunity here, but Julio wrapping around the back line, knocking down inbound to low HP, forced out by Isho. Cure Me finds Hawk in the back line, who was at low HP. Kha'Zix spinning around, knocking up the Gilded Gladiators. finds one in return. Johnny ripping through with that chin-sized Kali. Stewart to fall as well. A double for the Kali. Snoopy, low movement speed. The immobile E-Shell being chased down here by a movement speed enhanced Kali. Blinks in, stun, off the mark, over the top, jumps. Snoopy only delaying death as Johnny picks up the triple.
Johnny comes alive and is the superstar of that fight, and it's because of the patience that comes through. He waits in that green buff.
The Gladiator secure is in the grayscale no longer. Snoopy walking in from base. The Fire Giant down to a quarter HP. Scary D trying to create space here, but Johnny just rips through the solo laner. Stewart in the back line, forced up into the sky as well. It's Julio and Kha'Zix taking down the backliner. Kirmi does find the Kuzumbo, but Johnny finding another kill in the meantime. That's 3 again. Johnny cannot become the 4. Johnny with the penta leaping out of his chair. The Gilded Gladiators cut down by the Kali. Kha'Zix and Julio have been surgical, separating the backline of the Gilded Gladiators. Fire Giant falling down to half HP. It's basically Spudio on the objective. Kha'Zix in the backline, playing the distraction. Here comes Kirmi and Scary. Scary already dropping to low HP. Spudio forwarding shots into the solo laner. A 3-man landfall, but it doesn't matter. Kirmi drops to Hawk, who falls to low HP, dashes away. The Hex Mambo on the back foot here for the moment. Scary D dropping low to the auto attacks from Spudio. Hawk picks up a triple for himself onto Scary D. Johnny ripping through with the destruction. A divine Kali on the map inbound. Yanks back in. Julio protects Snoopy for a moment here. And it's a low Hex Mambo versus 2 more from the Gladiators. A left-hand Phoenix weak. A half-health Titan. Fragile hopes of the Gilded Gladiators here as Kha'Zix moves in. Julio is here as well. Stewart spitting poison from the Marticarus. Spudio in the backline, falling low to Kirmi, but it doesn't matter because Johnny is here. A double kill, immortal for the jungler for the Mambo.
Once again comes in to save the day. You find a dive for the Gilded Gladiators. You feel like you have to do something. Both your Phoenixes just fell. They're right on the outside of your base, and you get the solo jungle dive once again, but at this point in the game, it's not enough, and now it's 5 versus 3 to defend against the Titan.
The entirety of Hex Mambo moving in to the base. The Titan at half HP. The Gilded Gladiators forced back under their fountain as the Hex Mambo are going to go unscathed here at SMITE Summer Masters.
Remaining undefeated, 10-0 in total matches at this point of the Hex Mambo.